let the moms out.
My
I
dog's
love that I
getting
just
better. Oh my god,
I
there's a
wait.
cat there.
I love that I just wait for your barking. On today's episode, we are going to be discussing our biggest pet peeves as moms. And we're going to divide it into sides. So the biggest pet peeves of the things that we don't like doing as moms, like our biggest pet peeves of like the mom job, and pet peeves of just in general mom life, right? And I'll start first to jump in there. But before I do that,
Go on. Share it with us. Oh, sorry.
before I jump on that, let me let you know that we are on Instagram at wholetthemomsout.pod, and you can come chat with us and let us know. We are sharing a lot of awesome content, if we do say so ourselves, in there, and we are literally just having the funnest conversations all week long. So if you don't feel like waiting another week for one of our awesome episodes, you can just go ahead and hang out with us on Instagram at wholetthemomsout.pod. On today's
And
episode,
share your
we are
stories.
yes, and share your stories. Message us, DM us, leave it in the comments. We want to hear it all. Today, we're going to be talking about our biggest pet peeves, and I'll go first. My biggest pet peeve, the thing I dislike the most about being a mom in this season of life, because I think this changes in every season, is that my toddler is very independent already. So it's awesome because you're finally reached the age where you don't have to be somebody's butler 24/7. But then whenever I sit down and I ask her, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sit down now. I'm gonna go in the couch. And I'm like forever pregnant. I'm like 85 months pregnant. So I'm like huge and uncomfortable all the time. And I'm like, okay, mama's
Even
vagina
worse.
hurts. I'm
Not a
in pain.
vagina, please.
I'm gonna sit down. Do you need anything else? No, no, everything's okay. And then the second I sit down, and by the way, I've made everything available for her. Like her snacks are within reach, her toys are within reach, everything she needs is within reach. And so finally I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sit down. Do you need anything else? No, everything's okay. And the second I sit down, like, can I have some milk? Can I have some water? And it's like,
Girl, what are you doing? I just did that's not a fun. I the one you said like there, you're just putting everything available. Like I did that literally today. I was like, just put everything around him so he doesn't ask for me while I just did this one thing. One thing.
I will
And
clean
he
up
still
once a
was
week,
asking
but
for me.
everything is within reach. I literally, I made a closet out of tacks. I took all the dresses out of the closet and I put it on a piece of like windowsill. I put tacks and I hung her dresses there. I'm like, there you go. These are your dresses, because she goes through the days where she like wants to change 85 times a day. And I'm like, this is great, but I can't be your changing buddy. You grab your dresses, you put, you figure it out. You can spend 10 minutes figure out how to put in a dress. This is a great way to spend your time, but please leave me alone.
That's like the good thing about having a boy is like he doesn't really care about getting dressed. But then that's the problem is getting him dressed. You just have to try to get him dressed because he just wants to be naked.
Oh yeah, well that's
But
an
now
issue we
he's
have
starting to
too.
feel the cold, so hopefully that means that he likes to get dressed again. So, as you said, it's phases. It's just
Yeah.
phases of life. So my biggest pet peeve is the actually sort of similar, but like at bedtime. So when after you've done, the 5 stories and the 100 back rubs and the kisses and the hugs and all of that, and you're going out and they still ask for, oh, and another glass of water. Oh, and I need to pee again, and I need to pee again, and I need to pee again.
It's like never ending.
That is the worst for me. It's just
Well,
like,
and
oh,
it's also the
come
worst
on.
because by the time you do bedtime, you are like on your last like ounce of patience.
The
Like
thread.
it's like please let's just make it out. Just
I'm
go to sleep
trying
so,
so hard,
so nobody
please.
has
Yeah,
to get angry. Like I don't want to yell. I don't want
I'm
you to go to
trying so
sleep
hard.
crying,
Yeah,
but please, like please just please. Like
I don't want to get angry just right now. Just let me go. Just let me go.
I have to say, I never thought I would be negotiating and begging as much, especially this early on. Like my daughter is 3.5 years old, and the negotiations we have some days are like more intense than when I used to sell jewelry to people getting off a cruise ship that were coming from China and India. Like I'm telling you, like if you're a salesperson, if you're the salesperson and you're listening to this, you would agree that the hardest people to sell things to are Chinese people and Indian people because they're such good negotiators by default. Like everything in those countries is like bartering. So like they're so used to negotiating that it's literally like exhausting. Like if you can sell something to an Indian person or a Chinese person, you like you're good in life until you fucking get a toddler. Like
And
I
then,
don't know
yeah,
how
then the
I,
toddler comes and
I don't know
They have
how
a
she
hold on
does
you.
it.
They have a hold on you as well. It's
Honestly,
undeniable. Like it's
I
so
think we're
hard.
doing things wrong. I think we're doing things wrong. There's an episode of Bluey where the girls are doing a garage sale and they're like negotiating with this old lady and they make the old lady pay like a crazy amount of money for something because the toddler is like negotiating. I think instead of teaching toddlers like, preschoolers how to write and any of that nonsense, we should teach them how to run businesses. Put a goddamn lemonade stand outside and have them to
Yeah.
negotiate because I'm telling you, they're so good at
Nobody's gonna
negotiating.
say no. Yeah. Nobody's gonna say no to that. That's a great idea, actually.
I'm a,
Hmm.
I consider
Something to
myself a
think about.
pretty good
First of all,
salesperson, but she's still better than me.
just have to pay them well.
Yeah, you just have to like negotiate the allowance. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that's gonna be a hard one. When it
Okay.
comes to it,
What?
I said it's gonna be a hard one to negotiate when it comes to.
Oh no, like
Yeah.
she'll be like, this is mine.
Straight up. Yeah,
She
straight
told me
up.
my toddler told me the other day that she wanted to go to the store to buy something. She literally said to buy something. And I'm like, well, we don't just go to the store to buy something. What do you need to buy? She's like, something. And I'm like, well, we don't just do that. Like, like we save our money for things that we want to buy, like we need. And she's like, well, I'll buy it with my own money. I was like, what? Like, like,
Excuse me?
yeah,
Excuse
I'm like,
me?
okay, so jumping into, and you could probably hear my toddler singing outside. I don't know why she's like right there outside the door when we have the whole house that she can be playing around in, but she's literally just
I mean,
singing
why
outside my
would
door.
she? Why
Yeah,
would she
yeah.
be anywhere else besides next
To
to
be
you?
honest with you, I think we're making a mistake by having a different soundtrack for the podcast. I think we should just record our toddler singing, and that should be like the music for the podcast.
I feel like it would be a
Um,
very beautiful music, yeah, if we tried this
I
to let them do
could
it.
not agree more. Could not agree more. But my biggest pet peeve when it comes to like motherhood in general is when people come to you and tell you what you should be doing differently or like
Go
give you
ahead.
advice based on seeing something you do for 3 seconds. Like, let's say you're at the park and you're looking at your phone, and this has never happened to me, but I know it's very common. Like, and the mom is like on her phone, and there's somebody that's already judging that you're not engaging with your child because you're on your phone. And it's like, well, you're just seeing 2 seconds of me on my phone. Like, you're not seeing that I
Yeah.
spent the past 2 hours like playing hide and seek with them. Or like,
Yeah.
this is so common. Like, it happens to us a lot online because we post a lot of reels, related to kids and travel and stuff like that. But, so like people will come and be like, well, like, you're doing this with your toddler, like try this instead. And it's like, no, like you don't get it. This is called marketing. It's a hook. It's so that you can actually, if you need this kind of help, that you can find the real. It's not that I'm doing that. And like,
Yeah,
even if
it's
I was, you shouldn't be like, what? Like, why do we always
yeah.
feel like we know better than other people and that we can volunteer this information based off of like 2 seconds of someone's life that you're just observing?
Yeah. But
Ugh.
I did that a lot when I was young, like 2 years ago. No, I'm joking.
Oh,
But when I was before motherhood, I did a lot that. Like before being a mom, like I knew better. Like it was the thing, like you knew better, and then you see a parent doing something, and I was like, wow, they're doing that wrong because they should
well,
be doing this and
I
this and this.
I
I never
judged.
told them. I never told them, of
Right,
course.
right. That's what I was
I
gonna
never
say.
I never did that thing because I that's a bit too far even for me. But yeah, but like I actually saw recently a video of this guy saying this about a child, like a mom, like he was making a reel and he was talking about this mom that was at the park and she was on her phone and didn't pay attention to her kid and then was yelling at the kid and then and it's just like, well, again, yeah, you are judging on something that you have no idea. Like you were there for 5 seconds, you saw this interaction, you don't know what happened that day, you don't know why that woman's on the phone, you don't know, like you don't know anything, nothing, and obviously how overstimulated that person must be as well. And firstly, they are outside with their kid, like that's already amazing. First things first. And we just like, I don't know, like the right we feel that we know better. And when I was at Disney, like, and Flynn was like the last day, so Flynn was already, on another level of excitement and tiredness, everything. So I was letting him watch something while Matt was away because we were just the two of us together. And someone actually came to me and told me, like, oh yeah, screens are bad for kids and things like that. And I was like, oh right, okay. I didn't even know what to say. Like I was just in shock. And then I was like, okay, yeah, it's just for a second. Oh yeah, but you should know it's really bad for the brains and things like that. And I was like, I really didn't even know what to say. But it's just like, I already beat myself up for this. Like
Right.
I have already been feeling extremely guilty because I'm here at Disneyland fucking Paris and he's on his
Right,
phone
right,
because I can't control him right now because he can't doesn't stop
right. And
escaping.
you need a
And
break.
this is a
And it's
part
like,
for people.
yeah. And you
Exactly.
feel like you can come to me and tell me that I'm ruining their brains because it's just like, what? Yeah, I think for me,
Yeah,
so
exactly. It's
I
just
was
there's
always,
no
I feel like I had all the answers as well before I was a mother, but I never would have just volunteered information. First of all, I never felt like I had the right to tell a mother what she could be doing because I didn't have kids.
hmm
Thankfully, I had the foresight not to be that idiot. Um,
yeah,
but also now as a mom,
as
and
you said.
I want to point this out because it's not the same thing as giving advice. Like I have 13 cousins, out of which all of them except for three are so 10 cousins and one sister. All of them have kids except for one. All of them had kids before me except for my sister, and they all have obviously different lifestyles, live in different places, have different kids of different ages, etc., etc. And I have leaned on my cousins and my sister so much for advice and support through motherhood, and they come and tell me like, hey, have you tried this when I have an issue or whatever. But it never comes off like,
You
hey,
should
you're
be
doing
doing
this wrong,
this.
you should be doing this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you should
And
be
I
doing this
think
instead.
so,
Yeah.
and I think it's worth noting because what we're saying is not, because obviously it's a fine line. If we have an issue with anybody telling us anything, then nobody's going to come to our help, and then we complain there's no village. It's great to have a village and come and help, but also offer to help, and just come and complain
Yeah.
about what's going on. Like, oh, your kid is, using a tablet, you're ruining their brains. That's it. Walk away, rather
Yeah,
than, hey,
exactly. Yeah,
have you
that's
tried this
not
game? Look, I have this extra toy that worked really great for my kid. Do you want to try this? Or hey, look, I have a tablet right here. How about I watch him for a second so you can, you know what I mean? Like that's a different story than just coming and bashing someone for what they're doing based on the
yeah.
2 seconds you're watching. Like my cousins are great at this. I don't know how they had the insight of being this way because we're pretty intrusive. We're Cubans. We're not the standard people that you would normally refer to as kind and quiet
Passive
and
aggressive, just
non-intrusive.
stay
Yeah,
quiet
no, no,
and
no.
not.
We are the rude people, and it's just a cultural thing. But for some reason, my cousins, like so far, even through pregnancy, and pregnancy can be so sensitive, but they've always come to me with advice and guidance, and it never has come off like I know better or you should be doing this instead. Like I remember my cousin, I was complaining about the back of Alaska's head was like a total Rasta chicken nest. And she was like, I use this product and for my daughter and la 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 la. And I was like, oh, great, but it was never like you shouldn't let her hair get tangled like that. She's gonna go bald, like, and it's just like it's so crazy because online is very prevalent where people feel the need. And I think it comes out because we're saying things, writing them down, and the tone doesn't come off right. You know what I mean? And it's so
Yeah.
hard to like, it's so easy to misunderstand the
It is
tone and
hard.
say
Like,
things.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it
It's very
happens so
hard to
much
understand
that
anyone's
people,
tones. Yeah. It's
hmm
just but we
but I get
just
it all
like
the time. People just
assume.
say things. Yeah, like I posted a reel about something about a cartoon in Australia, and somebody's like, "What's on you for not doing research?" And it's like I'm literally saying that I was an idiot for not knowing this before going. Do you really need
Yeah.
to push me? Like, I don't need
Yeah,
to be.
exactly. Like
I
like
already know
step
I made
on
a
you.
mistake.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And that's another thing as well. Like admitting that you made a mistake and then someone just comes and like even like shoots you down. Yeah, you should have not done that. It's like,
Right.
all right. I'm admitting
And
to it already. Come on.
and it sucks so much because I think motherhood is one of those things where you're always on, like you're always working, you're always on, and everything you're doing is being scrutinized by yourself, first of all, and everybody else around you. So it's like not being able to admit that you made a mistake in motherhood is like, do you realize that this is so hard and there's no way that I can go a whole day without making a mistake? So me opening up about it, it's only opening up the possibility and the just the okayness for everybody else to not feel so lonely whenever we make a
Yeah.
mistake because we are going to make
Yeah.
mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like admitting that, some days are hard in motherhood, but then like if you share that online, is people just
Yeah.
go straight at you. You shouldn't
Oh
have
my God.
kids. I don't understand this. And it's just like, what? Like that's not what we're
I
saying. But I can't
saw,
just say the motherhood is great and I feel like myself again and I'm like all of this because it's not. It was not like this. I'm sorry, but it was very hard. It was
well,
not what
you're
I was
damned if you
expecting.
do.
So
Right.
damn if you
You're
don't.
damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Yeah.
I saw a reel the other day of this person complaining about how she didn't enjoy mother pregnancy. And the amount of people talking about how ungrateful, how hard it is for some of us to
Yeah.
conceive, yada yada. And it's like one thing does not invalidate the other. She's not saying she's not grateful to have her baby or to be able to conceive or to be able to be pregnant or to be able to have a healthy pregnancy. She's just saying it's damn hard. Like as a
It is
person
and
who
hard.
apparently I thought it was gonna take me longer to get pregnant both times. The first time I got pregnant, like literally, I just dreamed about it and it happened. And the second time, like I was like, oh, it's gonna take some months, and literally the second month it happened, you know. And I'm so grateful. But this second pregnancy has been the absolute pits. It's like being inside somebody's armpit with really bad BO who does not even know that good deodorant exists. This is what this pregnancy has been like. This is the best way I can compare it. It's like, I am in the pits with bad BO and no freaking store selling a decent deodorant around. This is what this pregnancy has felt like for me for the entirety of it. I've had like pockets, days, maybe a week of goodness, but most of it has just been horrible. What am I gonna sit here and be like, this is the most beautiful moment? I am empowered because I'm creating life. It's like, I mean, those things are true. I do feel like a badass because I'm alive. I don't even know how I'm alive, how I can function. The fact that my toddler is still being fed and showered and
Yeah.
she's
Everything is just
alive
happening. Yeah.
while, yeah, while I'm feeling this way
That is
is a
happening.
goddamn miracle. Yeah, like it's a goddamn miracle. And I'm thankful. But also, I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you this is the most wonderful time of my life because it ain't.
But that also shows how we are all different because I know, like, I followed, I can't even remember her name, like that, but I followed this couple, and she just had the baby, and she's missing being pregnant because she enjoyed it so much, and it's like, that is different. That's a person that really enjoyed pregnancy, and that's okay for you to also be different and not enjoying. Like, I don't understand why we have
Absolutely.
to all like just have one experience. Like, I don't know. It's just it's
Yeah,
motherhood.
why must somebody be put down because they don't feel the same way about, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
remember my
exactly.
previous
Like,
pregnancy. I don't want to say that I loved it because I don't think it was not like, I'm a very active person. I love being able to move around and do things and I'm go, go, go. And I think for me, having to slow down is very challenging. And I think pregnancy is definitely an opportunity to slow down, but it could also be really troubling if you're not able to slow down because you have a toddler at home, because you have anxiety, because of
hmm
COVID happening when you're pregnant
everything else.
and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And, but in my previous pregnancy, I remember like feeling beautiful. I felt beautiful through most of it. I got huge as well, but I felt beautiful. I felt like I have life and la 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 la. I just felt great, like, and it was still, there were still pockets of awfulness. Like the first trimester was awful the first time around, and the third trimester was difficult. But all of my entire second trimester was, I mean, I was like doing photo shoots every
Glowing.
day and glowing. Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, I look and I'm like, oh, I wasn't that pretty, but I felt great. And this pregnancy, I'm like, dude, I look like a mop, like a school mop. Have you ever looked into like the janitors like mop like at public schools? They come out with these things, and you're like, "What are you cleaning with that? That's so dirty. You probably can't even clean." This is what I feel like every day. It's like when people are like, "Oh, you look so beautiful. You're glowing." I'm like, it's probably the edit. It's probably the preset I'm using. Trust me, there's nothing glowing about me. Like, but I'm so happy to be
But when you
pregnant
do,
and so grateful.
when you do a little posing, you do look great, girl.
I mean, I don't know what to tell
I
you,
feel
but
like a sack of potatoes.
at best. Somebody was like, "Oh, you look so great." And I'm like, I feel like an abandoned beach whale. And they're like, "Oh, no, you look great. You're not even that big." And I'm like, oh, this has nothing to do with size. This is not about the size of a whale. This is about like
It's
if
how
a
I
whale was
feel.
stranded, if a whale is stranded on the shore, I'm assuming she would feel really shitty. Like she's out of the water. How is she gonna get back? She's struggling to, move her big ass
Oh
body
my
back
god,
in
the
the water.
description.
You know, this is what I feel like trying to get out of bed. My God, yesterday night, my husband came home and I had to get up to pee. I almost peed myself because I couldn't get up from the couch. Like,
Oh my god, I
how
remember that like
demoralizing.
the last few days.
Oh,
That was amazing. Actually, already the last few days. I was just like, oh, someone please come get me from this sofa because I'm stuck.
so like now I have to like anticipate having to go pee. It's like, okay, within the next 10 minutes, I may have to go pee. Let me start getting up. You know, like how do I move my body to create the least amount of pain so I can
Roll to
get
the
up from
side.
this position?
Roll
Yeah.
to the side.
It's like when people come in there, they're like, "Oh my God, but you look so beautiful." I'm like, that is the least of my concerns. Okay. I would
I
exchange
don't
looking like
care.
shit for feeling better. So, like,
Please. well, at least you will look back and you were like, oh, I did look nice.
I was talking to my godmother. This is so funny. So I love talking to older generations of mothers because the perspective has changed so much through different generations and different periods. But the amount of noise that is happening, I hope you cannot hear. It's so funny. My neighbor's dog just ran off after a pig, and she's like yelling after it's the dog chasing a pig, the neighbor chasing the dog. It's like a cartoon.
There's a lot
Um,
happening.
oh my. So I was talking to my godmother, and my first trimester, we did a trip to Australia, and I actually felt the best out of that entire trimester on that trip. I still felt like crap, but by comparison, I think it's because I was so busy and so caught up with what we were doing that I didn't have time to like. I mean, I was in bed by 8 p.m. every night, but I was feeling better. Um, and I did some photos and I thought it was fine and she goes, oh, I'm so glad you've gained some weight and you look better because those Australia photos you look like you were struggling like she was like but to her so like in Cuban culture a woman that gains weight in pregnancy is a beautiful thing like you're beautiful you're glowing and if you're just like skinny because you're vomiting and you're just like not gaining weight and you're just like whatever you look like crap and so she was like, she went on and on about how bad I looked on these photos and how bad I looked in Australia. And I was like, oh my God, I actually thought that was like some of the best times in this pregnancy. Like I actually felt the best. She was like, you
Nope.
look like shit.
Our culture says no.
According to our standards, you are not reaping any benefits from this pregnancy yet.
I feel like if you had gained weight, too much weight anyway, he would probably be like, "Hi, Nina."
Yeah, yeah. Well, I met a lady yesterday, and it's the lady I had met randomly. Anyway, she saw me when I was like 2 months ago, so I was way less big. And she's like, "Are you sure it's just one heartbeat?" And she's an older lady, so I know she means well, but it's like, I hope you understand how this makes me feel as I have 8 weeks to go. Like,
The amount of times
but
people
yes, we
say
check.
that, it's just like, why? Why people say that? It's the worst.
When
It's the
people
worst thing.
when people try to touch your belly, and it's like, I don't know you. Why would you touch my body? like, like they
I'm glad
assume
I
that
was
because you're
pregnant during
pregnant.
COVID.
Oh, I know, me too, the first time. So glad because now I have people in the market like, oh, your belly. So can I touch it? I'm like, no, no. Why would you want to touch my belly? I don't know you. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
we've
Have you
transitioned
disinfected your
into
hands?
pregnancy talk. Yeah,
Oh
we've
yes.
transitioned into
Oh, but
pregnancy
like,
talk. But these
let
are
me
all
go.
pet
Let me
peeves.
go on my pet peeve. Let me go on my pet peeve.
Please.
My pet motherhood pet peeve is what this is one that my mum does a lot, unfortunately. Bless her, she has the best intention, but she does this a lot. And it's like when I say something like, "Oh, my toddler is sick and he's needs." I mean, I give him medicine or anything like that, and then she goes like, "Oh, have you given him some orange juice and some honey and some?" And she gives me all the medicines in the world, and she just like keeps telling me what to do, even though I'm the one doing it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yes, I
Yeah.
appreciate the advice, but it's like you are telling me exactly what I told you I've done.
Yeah.
And it's like, mother. But it happens a lot with a lot of like my family is generally what happens.
Yeah.
And it's just
The
like there.
older
I
generations.
didn't
Yeah.
ask for the opinion. I was just literally you know, just sharing that he's not feeling well. And you start giving me the remedies for it. And it's just like, I
Well,
already
what
have that.
sucks about that is that they usually come at you like this when it's something that you're already freaking out about. Like it's never like about a cute outfit. It's never about something trivial. It's always like when your child is sick and you're already freaking the fuck out, like trying to make sure they're healthy, trying to make sure you have the right medicine, the right amount at the right time. And oh my gosh, is the fever really meriting this? Should the body be fighting it? Should I be,
Yeah.
home remedy versus medicine? You're already like beating yourself up. And then somebody comes and they're like, but have you tried this? And it's like, even if you did or didn't, you're gonna feel guilty about it. And it's like, there's a better way to do this. Like, there's gotta be a better way to
Yeah.
do this.
Yes. Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it's so
Exactly. And it's just like,
frustrating.
yeah, you're already beating yourself up and then they just come with more things. It's just like, oh no, I didn't ask you for that. I'm okay.
Like, we didn't
Sometimes I feel
need,
like
but
not
thank
saying
you.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it does. So,
But
so
yeah,
one of the reasons we're so adamant about discussing, I think, the topic of judgment in motherhood is because I think when we judge another mom or we make her feel less than, which is so prevalent in motherhood, I think what it creates is this whole stigma of like, you're not good enough and therefore you shouldn't share anything at all. And so it just becomes more alienating and we end up feeling more lonely and feeling more stuck in our own decisions and more insecure about what we're going through.
yeah,
And this season of life is already so challenging and there's so much of it that we're going at sort of like a newbie. Like every first time mom is brand new at doing this. She's only doing the best she can with what she's been given because she's there's no way to learn motherhood from someone else. You can't. So it's like, if we don't unite and make it okay for us to make mistakes, for us to ask questions without being judged, for us to share what we're doing without being judged, then we just get lonely and we get more reserved and we're just like hiding in a corner. Like I'm in a Facebook group here in Hawaii and it's a fantastic community. It's so helpful, but there are so many posts that mom asks that are completely anonymous because they're so afraid of what people will say. And I can tell,
yeah,
like they're like, oh, like whatever the question might be. But sometimes it's questions like, custody things. And obviously, you don't want people in the community to know who it is for the sake of your children. I get that. But sometimes it's silly things like, what is the best formula? And they have to make it anonymous because, there's moms that are going to come judge you for using formula. And it's like,
for using
dude,
formula, yeah.
this is so
It's just
crappy.
not,
Like, this is
yeah,
so crappy.
yeah, yeah. It's just not, yeah, we give our opinions way too soon before anyone asks, which is just the worst. And we also we judge, like, because we don't understand the situation, we don't know what's happening, and we just see a glimpse of it and we're like, oh yeah, that's the wrong thing. And that's it. Like we see a 5 second reel and we just automatically know everything about our family. We know
Yeah.
everything that is wrong with them. And it's like it's not fair because one, we don't know the kid. Two, we don't know that family. That's just a circumstance that we just saw a video of. And third, like, why not show kindness instead of fucking judge judgmental thoughts? Like, why is your first thought to be critical or jealous? That's most of the time is what it is. It's just jealousy, or I
Right.
don't know. Like, it's just crazy to me. How we are
I
that way
posted
and how I've been that way as well. Like it's not, I'm not saying that, like I'm exempt of it, but like once you realize it, it's just like, oh my
No,
gosh.
we are we are we are recovering judgers, you know. We
Yes,
are
yes,
recovering
yes.
recovering judgy bitches. That's what we are.
Yes.
Because this way is better and it's also better for us. It's not just better for the person receiving the judgment, it's also better for us because there are better things that you should be doing with your time than judging other people, really,
Yeah,
truly. Like I
exactly.
promise. I
Exactly.
promise.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
And comparing your
if
life to
you
someone else's.
yeah, there's no point in that because it's like comparing apples to bananas. So, if you are feeling like you want to take part in a conversation where nobody's going to judge you, no matter what it is you're doing, please do not come and tell us anything illegal. Please keep that to yourself. But if you are a mom and you just want to have conversations where you want to just talk about, I have to do
Share
this
your pet
because
peeve. Pet peeve.
yes, yes, yeah, I have to do the disclaimer because I know a person who does this like weekly episodes where like confessions and like people apparently confess all this like criminal stuff they do and she's like, oh no, 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 like this is actually please don't confess that crazy. Like go crazy but not that crazy. So we want you to
Slow
share your
down.
stories, but please don't share anything illegal with us. Um just putting it out there. But if you feel like you want to be part of a community where you want to just be heard, you just want to vent, you just want to talk, you just want to like hear other people, about their issues, other moms, and you want to laugh it out because sometimes laughing is better than crying. But if you want to cry too, come check us out at Who Let the Moms Out that pot. And we'll see you next week with another mom topic. Let us know in the comments below what else you would like us to talk about. What are your pet peeves? And let's just keep the conversation going because the more we talk about all these things,
Yeah.
the better we all feel about it.
Let's normalize it. Woo, woo, woo,
Woo,
woo.
woo. See you next week.
Bye bye.
Bye.